Yo, what is going on, folks? Your boy Nikki Popstar, Nikki Classic here for the Instant Classic channel, and today we're gonna be talking a little AEW Dynamite. We're gonna be going. Got my notes out here. Watched the April 8th, 2026 AEW Dynamite last night. I had intended on going and recording a video directly after the show wrapped up because I had so much. I like to kind of strike when the iron's hot when I'm talking about stuff like this in detail. But the show, not unusual now for Dynamite, apparently, ran about 30 minutes over last night. They had a full 2.5 hour block. I think the show wrapped at like 10:30, which is awesome. I think that speaks to nothing but good stuff. And most importantly, about the extension, you didn't really feel the time. By the time we got to the United Empire Death Riders main event, everything had kind of flown by. I was like, all right, we're at the end of the show. I got this. Completely blanked on the fact that we still had Kenny left to talk and come out and do his thing, which evolved into a whole back and forth promo with MJF that was really solid. We'll get to that. But yeah, AEW more and more lately is running extended on their Dynamite tapings, and I think it's nothing but a good thing. I think it shows that they're partners at TBS and their WB partners. Everyone on Max is like, hey, we're liking what you're doing. People are watching. Keep it going, right? You'd have to think if numbers weren't, what they say they are, then probably we'd be cutting at our usual 10 o'clock and people would be wrapping up. But damn, does it feel nice as a fan to look at the clock and you see it's 10:05 and your main event stars for the pay-per-view on Sunday are just now coming down to the ring and you're like, we can keep this party going. Because for me personally, whenever AEW wraps, I like to find somewhere to hang out and get in a chat room with people who liked it. Sometimes Fightful, I like to listen to what SRS and Alex are saying. Sometimes I hop in Bobby Monsoon chat, his channel. I really like him. But yeah, it's always just fun to be part of it after. So the show wraps at 10:30. I'm like, I'm not booting up my PC and talking. I'm like 30 minutes from bed. But it is a great feeling to hit that end of the night and know, whenever the show wraps up, you'll have a little extra to talk about. You'll have a little extra to listen to. Let's get into it. This was a strong Dynamite. This was a really strong go home show for Dynasty, I think. And it's got me excited because their go home shows have been crazy. Their go home Dynamites, at least, have been really crazy. And I'm going to be at the go home Dynamite for Double or Nothing on May 13th, I think, over in Asheville, North Carolina. Shout out. We've missed AEW in North Carolina the past year. I think it's been maybe since Revolution since I've seen him. Or no, Blood and Guts last year, so it hasn't been too long. But anyways, yeah, this was a really dope go home show. We're gonna go through this little by little and kind of break the card down. But I want to start out with this almost like cold open that they had. Death Riders got Osprey backstage. They're kind of whooping his ass in like the big parking garage area, and Osprey gets away from him. He's got Pac bearing down on him, Claudio, Danny, Yuta, Marina's out there throwing hands too, and he's got this limo pull up, and Windsor hops out, his fiance Alex Windsor, who looked absolutely dope in kind of the all black. She had the little like tube top and the black pants on. She looked sick. Will looked sick. He was wearing a suit, and out of the car comes three members. After Alex gets out, three members of United Empire. You got Callum Newman, who just became the youngest IWGP World Champion of all time at 23 years of age. He pops out. Hinari pops out. He looked absolutely sick. Excuse me, real quick. And then this dude Francesco Akira, who I'm not familiar with, bro, or his body of work. But I want to start off this talk by kind of addressing something, and it has to do with this, right? So we're going to take a little meander for a second, and then we're going to get to the full card. But I want to go into this. I want to talk about literacy and adaptability of fans and of the viewership of this company, right? So the United Empire opens up this show, and they're definitely going to be a big part of Forbidden Door. I like that Callum is being introduced to AEW fans this early. I like seeing Hinari, and I like that I get to learn about Francesco. But immediately when these guys pop out, you know exactly what the conversation's going to be online. It's going to be, who the fuck are these guys? Am I expected to know these people? And am I expected to care about this? Why is Tony Khan pulling this shit again where he pulls a bunch of indie wrestlers or like Japanese dudes that I don't know about and put them on the show? You know that that's what people are going to say right away. And I hop on my phone on a commercial break and sure enough it's the same group of fucking like rubes who view learning and who view being exposed to something new as like embarrassing or as a failure of booking. And here's what it kind of made me think about, right? Now follow me. I'm gonna meander for a second. I have been playing this month a lot of Resident Evil Requiem, right? I picked this up the day it came out back in February. Life-changing experience, right? Up until that point, I had played other Resident Evil games. Namely, I'm a big 4 guy. I played 4 since I was a kid. I beat the remake last year. So I know Resident Evil, and I've dabbled with the survival ones. Was never really my cup of tea. Because just that wasn't the kind of game that I really like to play. But I play Resident Evil, and I play Resident Evil Requiem, right? And even I'm 27, you feel me? And my whole life I'm like, I love survival horror conceptually. I love video games. I love the characters of Resident Evil and all the packaging, but I just can't play the games. I don't know where to start. I'm unfamiliar with the timeline. I'm unfamiliar with the lore. And the actual practice of playing it, it's like I got to teach myself how to play a whole new kind of video game. Because I'm used to playing a lot of JRPGs. That's my kind of deal. So I'm used to just being able to go and grind my numbers and my stats up to deal with whatever, right? But if I play Resident Evil, it's like a whole new skill set I got to acquire, new packaging, new understanding. But I play this game, and guess what? It becomes one of my favorite games ever. I think it's a masterpiece. And I look at all this stuff, and I'm going through RE9, right? The 9th game in a 30-year-long franchise. And there is a ton of shit that I don't know. I didn't beat 7, I didn't beat 8 before this, right? I beat one of these games, and it's like completely disconnected. So I'm going through, I don't know what the fuck the BSAA is. I don't know what Blue Umbrella is. When I'm down in Arc, I don't get that. When I see Xeno, I'm like, I know who Wesker is via cultural osmosis, but is this a guy I'm supposed to know or whatever? No. So all this stuff I'm looking at, and I don't know any of it. I don't know where it comes from. This is why I bring this up, bro. If I'm a WWE fan, or if I'm one of these dudes online that says, who the fuck is this? Am I supposed to know about this? This is pathetic. Why are you showing me something I'm not familiar with? Then I'm turning off Resident Evil Requiem, and I'm playing something that I know, that I'm familiar with, that sells the most units. Not to say that, Requiem didn't sell a ton of units, but I'm picking up Call of Duty because I've been playing Call of Duty forever and I get it and it's familiar. And it's the one that makes the most money, so it must be best. That's what a WWE fan does. Me? I see all this stuff that I don't understand in Resident Evil Requiem, and I spend a month beating every Resident Evil. Whoa! There they all go, dude. Too excited. I go through this whole franchise and learn about it and fill in my blind spots. Because guess what? I like horror and I like video games, so I'm going to take the time to learn something. If you are a wrestling fan, if you claim to be a fan of professional wrestling, and you see these dudes pop up on your screen and you don't know them, and Jon Moxley and the Death Riders are taking them seriously enough to do a shock main event with them, are you not like, if one, I think a lot of AEW people know who these guys are. Hinari's been on it. Fletcher and Davis were members of United Empire. People know who Jeff Cobb is. Jeff Cobb was on AEW a ton on crossover shows when he was with United Empire. And you guys know who Will Ospreay is. Has no one ever Googled Will Ospreay? And went back and watched fucking tape? Watched old PPVs from New Japan? Figured out what United Empire are about? Anyway, are you not just like, I want to learn about this? So for me, I don't know who this Francesco Akira dude is, but I could tell you what. After watching that main event of Dynamite, it's about to be like Resident Evil, because I guarantee you, By the end of this month, I'm going to be familiar with Bro's work. Main event was fire. The whole United Empire thing was great. I love this global synergy, man. New Japan cats, CMLL cats, AEW dudes, you know. We won't get into this whole TNA situation. It is what it is, dude. They're fucking cowards over there. And anyone that would make an excuse for what TNA's doing, pulling their guys off cards that AEW wrestlers are on, you don't love the medium. You don't love wrestling. You don't care about any of it. That's how I feel, man. And I feel the same way about people who feel gypped that their main event last night had dudes that they didn't know. Familiarize yourself. Come back, bro. You're not going to be penalized for not knowing who these guys are. Watch the wrestling. There was a time in your life where you didn't know who Kenny Omega was. There was a time in your life when you didn't know who, whoever. We aren't born knowing who Eddie Guerrero is. You watch matches and you learn because he's in matches. So, check it out, man. This young dude, Callum Newman, if he's getting introduced to you at 23 and he's a world heavyweight champion, we're going to be watching this dude wrestle for 25, 30 years. So if last night was when you figured out who he is, then take that as a huge W for yourself. Educate yourself, get acclimated. That's enough preaching for me. The point of all that being, I liked the way that the United Empire was rolled out in this. I thought it was a fire opening, very cinematic. The way that they lined the dudes up on some Civil War shit, it was awesome. And then the unannounced main event being another one of these like mini anarchy in the arenas. They called it Chaos in Canada. This is the second time one of these big like multi-man, no DQ, like not even unsanctioned, but like whatever you want to call it, brawls have happened on AEW TV this year, bro, because they had that one with the Bucks in it that was absolutely amazing with the Rascals. So I like this lead-in. We're going to go through this a little bit. I don't want to spend as much time on this as I did on the Revolution card, that 2-hour video, but my desire is to kind of do weekly Dynamite recaps on here. So if you like the content, if you like just hanging out and listening, talking a little wrestling, I'd appreciate it if you drop the sub. We got the mask on this week because Mr. Brody King could not be on this week's episode of Dynamite, so we're showing respect to Brody. He was at his friend's funeral. I know Danhausen and Punk were there. I don't need to talk about that. They were friends with his buddy Bo, so I'm going to not slag off CM Punk on this just because I know that he's mourning someone, and business is business, wrestling is wrestling, but, when you lose a friend like that, especially to suicide, I'll give you a week, but that pipe bomb wasn't no pipe bomb, Punk, and if I do another one of these next Wednesday, I'm on your head, boy. I'm on your head. So let's go through this. We start off with this backstage brawl. It's awesome, and then they cut to Don Callis, and, I think it's good that they got this out of the way early. Kyle Fletcher is going to be on the shelf for an extended period of time. This is maybe the worst thing that could have happened in this company. Kyle Fletcher is the best wrestler in the world right now, in my opinion, with the only caveat being like Moxley and Omega are active wrestlers, but I think on any given Wednesday he could probably outshine either of them. Not that he has the body of work yet to have that full conversation, but I think working right now he's the best. He's going to be injured for a while. He got injured, I think they were wrestling the Rascals, him and Davis, and it was just some freak thing, and they're going to take the time to address some other minor injuries he's been accruing. But basically, Callis comes out, says, you know what? This sucks, and we had a crazy plan that we were cooking up. Apparently, the Dynasty match was going to be Proto-Kata versus the Bucks. He said, I was cooking that match up. I had Tony Khan about to book it, and this happened. So, one, that match is not happening anymore on Sunday. We'll talk about the replacement in a sec. And two, the TNT title is being vacated. And that will be, the new TNT champ will be decided in a gauntlet match, in a casino gauntlet match, kind of Royale type deal on Sunday at the pay-per-view. I guess this is a good time to go ahead and tackle everything involving this. There's not really a pretty way to get Kyle Fletcher out of here and to deal with this TNT thing. It's the second time that some BS has caused this. The TNT title is so fucking snake bit. part of me says retire the thing, but you know, the legacy's there. I think just because of Mr. Brody Lee, they can never really retire the belt that was tied to his lineage, and they keep trying to rehabilitate the thing, but it's snake bit truly. I mean, from Cole to Fletch to, you know, I think Ciampa's going to be probably the one that wins it here and holds it for a while. And when Fletcher gets back, I don't think we can have him really wasting time on the TNT title anymore. So I'm still comfortable saying that he's the best TNT champ of all time. I don't really know who the argument would be. It ain't Scorpio, it ain't Wardlow, it ain't Darby. Miro was super good, but for me, his whole everything is tainted just by like not wanting to work. You know, Brody Lee, Cody, you could have those conversations definitely. I think Fletch is the work rate king, and I've really liked everything he's done with it. The Briscoe series was fire. The Ciampa match was godly. I loved when he put Dustin in the grave and fucked up his knee to get it back. I think he's got a real relationship with it, and he did elevate it. And this just sucks. But I think the gauntlet's the way to do it. It's a little close to the national title gauntlet, but, you know, it's not on someone. It's coming in unincumbent, right? If I'm using that word properly. So it's not on anyone. Whereas Ricochet losing it in a Royale, you could argue it. And I think they've been telling a good story with that. So I like a gauntlet on pay-per-view. It's fun. I think it's a... If it's not on 0 hour, it might be a good kickoff. Kind of how they did last time. Although I think they have a really good with tag matches being the kickoff. And I'd be happy with FTR and Cope and Cage opening in Canada on a pay-per-view. I think that'd be legendary, and they did so good with the Bucks last month. But yeah, they've got this. There's not going to be an elegant way to do this. I think it's fine. I think Ciampa is probably your best bet. I hear people say Andrade. It needs to be the Continental or the World. I think the Continental on Andrade could look really good, but it seems that Ospreay is probably going to be getting that on Sunday, which we'll get to. So anyway, just to close this out, the Don Callis stuff that goes on throughout the rest of the night, we can go ahead and tackle. There's a big pull-apart brawl at the end of the six-man that happens pretty early on in this. It was a good time. I liked it. It was just everyone going absolutely nuts. This weird mismatch of like Darby, Jungle Boy, and Bandito. They got some cool stuff off. It's a go-home thing. I'm fine with it. If this was on like a more story-buildy Dynamite, it'd be like maybe enough of the multi-man stuff. But I love seeing the DCF in action. It devolves into absolute anarchy. The Rascals are coming out there. Myron Reed is fighting with Okada. The whole DCF comes out. Okada and Takeshita are brawling in the ring. They're getting dragged off by their boys. It's really kind of crazy. And it ends up with this clash between Okada and Takeshita, right? And how they deal with that is later on in the show, the whole DCF is backstage, and Callis on commentary has been building up the idea of himself being like a Phil Jackson type character, and they're, you know, the 96, 97 Bulls, and, you know, Jordan and Pippen didn't have to like each other. I'm actually okay with the fact that my guys in my faction aren't buddies, but, you know, they gotta listen to the coach, and I'm the one steering this thing. And that's the story as it goes. I really like this framing device of the DCF being compared to the Bulls. They're really kind of brigands, you know? They're kind of just lone gunmen, lone swordsmen who are out here collecting pay, and they're all kind of like... Everyone in the Don Callis family is like post-decency, right? They're all people who have given up on trying to be good or okay or anything. There's flashes of it in Takeshita and in Fletcher and Andrade, but writ large, they're just a bunch of bad dudes who are out for gold and for money and for glory and for W's. And I like the idea of them being a bunch of loose shooters that are held together by this coach figure in Callis. So he says, we were going to have the Protocata match, but now that that's not going to happen, I need Okada and Takeshita. I need for you two to put your shit aside and tag against the Bucks on Sunday. He says, do it for Kyle. I loved this. This is like a neck strong, Roderick Strong type thing where he's already playing up Kyle's injury. And he says, poor Kyle is lying sick and dying in a hospital right now. And you two can't even come together for one night. And it's got me thinking, oh my God. How much shit is he going to do, like evil, manipulative stuff that he's going to justify by talking about Kyle Fletcher's on his deathbed in the hospital. He's got hours left to live. Bro, Kyle Fletcher is like 6'4", like zero, like negative body fat, like perfect physical condition. He's not dying. His shin got a little banged up, but Callis is so funny. And he's so adept at taking advantage of these injuries, just like he did with his forehead scar when Mox gave it to him. He really just makes it, he milks everything, man. He takes everything and makes lemonade. And Fletcher being on the shelf, it sucks, but God, the story of the family is going to keep going, and Callis is bright enough to keep Fletcher involved on it even while he's on the bench. So I love this. Okada and Takeshita agree to tag together for one night at Dynasty against the Young Bucks, which, by the way, dream match. And they do it conditionally. They say, all right, we'll do this, Callis, but you've got to sanction and you've got to get made a strap match for us. Intercontinental title match at Double or Nothing. So I love this. The Bucks match is going to be absolutely amazing. The story in that, the way that Okada and Takeshita are going to break each other down and just keep being dickheads to each other and cost each other the win, building up to that Double or Nothing. I love having something on the card a month out for the next pay-per-view, and this pay-per-view ties into it. It's elegant. It's elegant, it's creative, it's working on the fly with a really bad situation, and I love it. So I really just want to get over everything that happened with the Don Callis family this week. It's good with me. I like it. So yeah, everything DCF was good. Something I thought was a little less good, but you know, kind of was what it was, and it was always going to be this way, was the Willow Nightingale Queen Aminata match. And I love Willow Nightingale, man. I think that the TNT title needs something to happen with it. Sheeta's back, and she's looking on. They've got a match on Sunday. I think Sheeta's probably going to take that title, especially if she's back full time. It's good to see her back. She's part of AEW. You know, when I came in to AEW, when I started watching, she was the champ. It was near the beginning of her reign, and I loved it. She got me acclimated to the women's division right away. So I like her being back. But part of me, it's tough, because Aminata had some ring rust here. She's been out for quite a while, ever since Tekla and the Sisters of Sin put her on the bench, and I love that Aminata's back. I almost wish that she'd had a couple matches and that this match would have been booked for Double or Nothing, because I think a title on Queen Aminata is not a bad idea at all. I love her look. I love the way she moves. I love that she doesn't know that wrestling is fake a lot of the time. That shit that she was doing with Tekla last year was like true, real, beautiful violence. The two of them are angelic in the ring together with just how vicious and cruel they are. And Aminata, I think, is going to get back into her groove. But this match wasn't really it for me. There were a couple little things. You know, I don't want to hate, because it's not like I didn't enjoy watching it. This is a competent match. These are two really good wrestlers. Great presentation. I like Willow kind of being really playful with this, being a good sport with it, trying to get the handshake, laughing it off when she gets betrayed, saying, okay, Aminata, all of this. There was a cool chemistry here. I like these women together. You know, Sheeta looking on always makes it more fun when you're thinking about the next match during this one, but it does telegraph that Aminata's got no shot, and she's someone that I would really like to see strapped up in this company. So, you know, get her back in, get her reacclimated, and let's move that way. Next big thing that we had on here that I was really curious about, that everyone was, this is maybe the biggest story of the week, right? Is the return on the mic of Chris Jericho and him talking about what happened last week. The Jericho thing is weird, because I get everyone's perspective. I'm kind of on everyone's side with this. Because at the end of the learning tree, I was definitely like, I'm good on this. I remember the American Top Team stuff. I was so good on that. I didn't need to watch that anymore. That was years ago with fucking Dan Lambert. God. Although I do think that brought Marina Shafir into the company, so if that's the holdover of that. The Death Riders are the best thing on television. We're going to talk about that later. But Jericho, there's been as many misses in AEWs as hits, and I'm an outsider because I thought the JAS was funny as fuck. I love the Ocho and I love the Wizard. I didn't hate the Learning Tree. It was just like, come on, bro. There's other people I want to be watching. Um, but he's coming back. He cuts this really long promo. I get the people that don't want to see him anymore. I get why. I get not wanting to have a bunch of old wrestlers on here. I think it's a little different with Chris. And I want to kind of be thoughtful in how I discuss this, right? AEW, if this was WWE and Chris Jericho came back and it was another old dude in big feuds, like I know we've got Cage and Cope right now, and they're a little bit older, but they're not like ancient. If this was WWE and it was another old man and there were no young dudes in the thing, I'd be like, what the fuck are we doing? I don't want to see this dude back on my screen. Go away, stop wrestling. But that's not the case, man. Again, we talked about this after Revolution. Okada's got a match with Myron Reed on Saturday. Kenny last week. Kenny's tied to Speedball Mike Bailey right now. Kevin Knight is kind of loosely tied to Swerve. Kyle Fletcher's extremely young. Callum Newman, 23, was on the show. Nick Wayne has been featured, not like recently. He's on ROH right now because he's been injured, but he's been a part of AEW. Hook is part of AEW. They had, oh my God, Zeta Steele, I think her name is, last week on Dynamite. She's incredibly young. I thought she was phenomenal. There is so much young talent on AEW that I don't think it's like a problem. And I think Chris Jericho is a legend of wrestling, and we're really quick to forget that because of the inconsistent quality of the late body of work that he's had, late career body of work. But he's one of the legends of this shit. And fuck his MAGA wife, and fuck the Jan 7 stuff, and fuck all of that. And I think he's lame and corny to a degree, and I also think he's awesome. And I also love Chris Jericho, and I love what he has represented historically to this company. I love the international feel of Chris Jericho. I love Mr. Worldwide, dude. I love reaching out and learning new things and sharing new styles. And he comes out here and cuts this promo where he's like, look, I love this place. I took a chance coming here and it was the right thing to do. I love AEW. I want to end my shit here. I want to stay here. I want to help new people. I love this. He said, if I'm in the main event, if I'm on a pay-per-view, if I'm the opening match, if I'm in the mid-card, if I'm not on the show, I just want to be doing what I can to help young wrestlers. And that's exactly right. And you can listen to that with trepidation because the Jericho Vortex was real. And I remember how we felt when Ricky Starks got in that program with him. And that, I think that led us somewhere really ugly. And that's why Ricky Starks is fucking jerking off in NXT right now for a year, what, 2, 3? Whatever decision that was, man. He would have had this position that Fletcher's in. But anyways, Jericho, I get being like, you say this, but you've also done some stuff that we really don't like with young wrestlers. I think he means it this time. I think he wants to do the right thing, and I think he wants to be liked and loved. And he's always reinventing himself. He's always doing this, so he brings back his list gimmick tonight. This is not a man to go to old gimmicks. And I think I have an idea of what he's doing. My hypothesis is that he's going to, and he's already done this in AEW. You have to understand that. He's wrestled matches in AEW as the Painmaker, which was an NJPW era Jericho creation. He's wrestled as Corazon de Leon, Lionheart, right? That was something that he did when he was in his 20s in Mexico and later in Germany and also in Japan. He's wrestled a lot of different gimmicks in AEW, and I think bringing back the list, some people are saying that this is desperate. For me, it doesn't feel like it. It feels like the dude's on his way out. He's tried a lot of things, and my guess is that we're going to see kind of a greatest hits run of Chris Jericho at the end here, and you know what? It's fun. There are people who have been doing the same thing in this wrestling business for 30 years. The same tired gimmicks. For this dude who has become ubiquitous for his ability to to stay liquid and to adapt and to change and to try things, which almost sounds oxymoronic, to be known for being different all the time, right? But that's what he did. So you know what? Take a victory lap. I'm here for it. I believe he loves this place. And there's something poetic. I understand the people who are like, he probably should have just gone to WWE. I don't know what's really left for him to do in AEW. This was our first world champion. This was a guy who helped AEW come in here. I think there's something poetic about him retiring here. I like it. I like, a Legends class, a kind of inaugural first decade Legends class of a Bryan Danielson, of a Sting, of a Christopher Daniels, of now a Chris Jericho. I think Paul White is still with AEW if I'm not mistaken. Jeff Jarrett sticking around backstage, I like very much. I know there's a handful of other guys that, like Jerry Lynn, I think is part of things, and then who else is, I think probably Dustin Rhodes in the next 5 years too is going to be part of that Legends class. But I like it. It means something to me that our first champ is going to retire here and that he decided this is the place to be. I think it says something. I think it says something that he looks at the state of things and says, I want to end at AEW. So I'm cool with this. The promo's really good. He says that. He says, I've had some stinkers. I've done this a long time. We're here a couple miles down the road from where I had my first wrestling match. I want to sign this contract. He is about to do that. Who comes out? Ricochet. Now, this is very smart. People despise Ricochet. I love Ricochet. This is nothing but good for both men. If you want Jericho to get over, you know who's the one dude you can put him with that is going to get real authentic boos and get people on Jericho's side? Ricochet. You know who's a made man and isn't a young dude that is going to be potentially damaged by an extended Chris Jericho feud? Ricochet. You know who can work? Ricochet, bro. I think this has the potential to be a great match for Dynasty. I liked the Ospreay match at Wembley a few years back. So you know what? Let's roll with it. I got no problems with this. Again, I feel you. If you're standing on shaky ground with Chris Jericho, I'm not even gonna say you're tripping because I completely get it. For me, this is still Chris Jericho. This is still a legend of wrestling. This is still someone that's responsible for a lot of the shit that we hold dear in our hearts as wrestling fans. And anyone will tell you that. You ask Kenny, you ask Fletch, you ask Swerve, you ask Bandito, bro. Any of these guys will tell you what Jericho has meant to the business and to just international wrestling, bro. Again, they say it on commentary every time. If Chris Jericho doesn't go to New Japan and wrestle Kenny Omega, this world looks very different. Long thing over. I think that was kind of the biggest thing that I really wanted to hit on. Excuse the phone. I got my little notes here. Let's see what else. Yeah, the list is back. Like we said, the Callis stuff was really kind of funny. I really love the direction they're going with this. A line that I forgot, and I love this. And I have I love the history of that 96-97 Bulls run. As someone who's not the biggest sports guy in the world, I know that, beat for beat. I watched all them documentaries. Like I say, I spend a lot of time on YouTube. I like to be learned and knowledgeable about different things that are important culturally, and that strikes me as one of them. But I love this line of Okada going to Takeshita, I'm Jordan, you're Pippen. This is a great story. This is an absolutely great story. I think that's most of the show here. We had a match that was cool. I'm not going to say it was the most hyped thing ever, but it was a number one spot match for this casino, whatever it is, this Gauntlet Royale for the TNT title. That was between Tommaso Ciampa and Mascara Dorada. And Dorada is a fucking beast. I'm loving him. I'm really getting excited now on AEW programming when on the Titantron a dude comes out with the big CMLL logos, right? I'm really getting acclimated to their roster and to seeing these guys. And again, just the teamwork and these joint contracts that they're doing. Because now we've got, let's run through this list, right? It's not just CMLL dudes anymore. We've got Mascara Dorada. we've got Mystico, we've got Hechicero, we've got Persephone, we've got on the CMLL side that are coming and signing a joint contract with AEW. Then AEW talent, we've got Claudio Castagnoli, we've got Thunder Rosa just signed a joint CMLL deal. This is fire, bro. Keep it up. I'm loving this stuff. This just means more stars, more action, more styles, more PPVs, more rivalries, more feuds, more awesome stuff for us to enjoy. And like, yeah, having access to a match like this on a Wednesday night due to these joint contracts, having the ability to just say, fuck it, Ciampa Dorada, and have Ciampa just beat the life out of Dorada, have Dorada do these flips. Ciampa is crafty, man. He's getting that psycho out, and there's blood in the water right now. He's closing in now that he's got this clean shot, this opening to get Sylvie back. And I do think he's the right guy. I think this is the right time. Let me adjust my mask a little bit here. If he is going to get that TNT title back before going on to do whatever he does, because he's like, look, I'm not just here for the TNT title. I want to be a major player in this company. I think this is the intro. I think this is the first year, and we'll get to, him doing some bigger stuff later. But I think probably now he gets this title back. I like it. Ciampa earns himself a number 1 spot in this thing, so he's going to be coming out first. And then on Collision, we have a match to see who's going to be in that number 2 place. I should have wrote down. I forget who's going to be in that, but I'm excited. I'm excited for that match. Always just getting a new champ is fun. I wish Fletch was still around, obviously, but we're gonna have a good time with it either way. You feel me? Tekla cuts a quick promo. She's really scary, dude. She's back there. I don't know if it was with Lexi Nair. I think it was with Lexi. And she says some really threatening shit. I should have wrote the words down. But she says something like diabolical. It reminded me, if anyone... this is what it felt like. If there are any It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia fans out there, there's an episode where Dennis and Deandra, 2 of the characters, are trying to get a prescription for like antidepressants or antipsychotic medications or something like that. And they go into a doctor's office, and the character of Dennis looks at his sister, and they're supposed to be doing a bit. And he's like, I'm going to skin you and make your skin into a suitcase or a lampshade or whatever. And she's looking at him like, like straight up terrified. Like, what are you talking about, bro? This is not a bit. Tekla says to Lexi Nair some shit about like she's going to break her fingers. She's going to take her to a strip club and put her up on stage and break her hand. It was weird. It was out of pocket. It was like actually unhinged. And that's what I keep saying about Tekla is like, there's the gimmick of like, ooh, I'm crazy. I'm in like the Wyatt 6, or I'm fucking Alexa Bliss with a doll. Tekla's different. She's just demented. There's just something actually wrong with that woman, and I love it. I love this promo. Really quick backstage kind of deal. She's wrestling Jamie Hayter. It's going to be a belter. She brings up Jamie Hayter is the first person that she jumped when she came into AEW to make a statement. She says, I did it because you were the weakest. Now, Jamie Hayter is injury prone for sure. I don't know if she's the weakest woman in AEW, Tech. I think you may be in a bit of trouble because that woman can beat the brakes. I've seen Jamie Hayter do some vicious things in my day, man. So I'm really excited about that match. Tekla is a total star. She fits AEW like a glove. Her husband, Clark Connors, is here. I like that too. So that was good. Then we really only got 2 things left on the show. We got Cage and Copeland cutting a promo, on FTR. Now this was nuts. Christian Cage. I fancy both of these guys a lot, but I fancy Christian Cage a little bit more than Adam Copeland. He's nasty, bro. I saw a photo of him, Chris Benoit, his poor son, who I remember seeing him interviewed in Dark Side of the Ring. He seems like a really good kid who's making lemonade out of this rough life. But he was at the show last night, and he had a photo of him backstage with Jericho and then Cope and Cage. And Cage was looking at Benoit's son, and all the comments were like, don't do it. Don't say it, Cage. Don't say it. Like, red button. Cage was like, I understand you had a father. It's like, not that father, bro. we don't want to conjure up fucking Chris Benoit in the big 2-6, bro. But Christian Cage comes out talking about how he's gonna sleep with FTR's like moms and their wives, and he's gonna go and find Big Stokes' mom after Dynasty, and he's gonna do the nasty with the tag titles. Bro, just unhinged. I remember, I think it was the last week, he almost hit Renee Paquette with a chair. And Copeland was like, bro, what are you doing? It's so fun. Everything that Cage says, everything that Christian Cage says, Adam Copeland looked like he just swallowed his goblet. It's so fucking funny, bro. I love Christian Cage. I love Christian Cage. This is hilarious. Yeah, the big Stoke line is great. FTR comes out, jumps him, really beats the daylights out of him to the point where they mess up Christian Cage's arm in a chair, and then they line up. I don't remember if they lined up Cage or Cope, but they picked up one of them and lined him up. And Stokely comes running and hits a spear, I think on Adam Copeland, and they're calling him Stokeberg. Dax Harwood posted on Instagram, Stokeberg has a better spear than Roman Reigns. Oh my god, it killed me. This is fire. I'm seeing people online, which is why I wanted to just get this out before I like listen to anyone else say anything on Dynamite. I'm gonna try and do better next week, but I'm telling you, when it went off air at 10:30, I just could not be fucked to come and sit in front of my computer and talk. It was bedtime for old Nikki Popstar, you feel me? But I did want to kind of talk before I saw what other people say. People are like, because of this injury angle, FTR is probably going to retain a Dynasty. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with them retaining, and then Double or Nothing. Obviously, you got FTR, Cope and Cage, Bucks. That's probably the way to do it, right? But I still think it's a conversation to be had. You know, I don't know how much time Cope and Cage got before Cope has to film another season of Percy Jackson or like work on another project, and I don't know when these boys are looking at retiring either. So whenever they do it, they'll do it. These guys are talking, they're cooking. This is a great feud. I'd say this is probably the best work that Adam Copeland has done in AEW. And Christian Cage, is secretly, I'm just going to say, Christian Cage secretly is one of AEW's MVPs. Everything he's done in the company has been mint. And that's how I feel, and that's just what it is. I loved this, man. I'm very excited. We're going to do a full breakdown of Dynasty. That's going to be uploaded on Monday. If you enjoyed this, come back to the channel. We're going to be talking AEW Dynamite, or AEW Dynasty, excuse me. But for now, that's one of the matches I'm really excited about going in. And then we're going to wrap this up. Look, phone going up, going away. This main event, this Chaos in Canada. I was kind of in and out for like the first 5 minutes of it. And then it kept heating up and going. Man, AEW is the place for these multi-man matches. And I'm not going to be one of these fucking cowards online. Like someone, unfortunately, that I really used to respect, Simon Miller, who I think is not to be trusted. And I'm sorry to say that. I think he's probably a nice dude, but bro, I'm so fucking sick of all the clarifyings and all of the asterisks and everything and all the... If this kind of thing isn't for you, I totally get that, but I think it's cool. Isn't it fun that wrestling is subjective and everyone can like their own thing? And I'm gonna grade these shows on a curve and as a fucking like 35-year-old man pretend that WWE Raw is watchable and is made for adults? And that it's not like sick corporate greed and like MAGA politics that are like corrosive to our entire fucking country. And these people are not being properly paid or represented on television and are being put in bullshit for lowest common denominator, like viewing because they think their audiences are idiots. I'm not going to be one of these people that says, if this wasn't for you, that's okay. If you don't like this kind of match, what is not to... Like, I'm not going to do baby gloves, bro. Or kitty gloves. What's not to like about this? You had 8 hyper athletic fucking freak athletes from all over this world, right? In this ring, in this arena, putting on a show, risking their bodies for our entertainment, bro. And it was fire. And these people are consummate fucking professionals. And everything you watch, I mean, I'm sitting here thinking, like I said earlier, I'm 27, you feel me? I'm looking at this young cat, Callum Newman, 23 years old. I'm watching him, some of these thrust kicks. Ooh, this tandem stereo fucking os cutters. What? That's craziness, bro. I'm like, this kid's gonna hurt himself. And then I have to remember, this is just in bro's DNA. What do I know? Who am I to sit here and worry about these injuries, bro? These people, it happens. They are going. This is what they want to do. These are people getting to ply their fucking craft and their trade on a global stage. Introduce themselves to new people. These are guys from Japan fighting an American promotion in fucking Canada. Okay? You got young cats like Wheeler Yuta, Danny Garcia, Callum Newman, and Francesco Akira cutting it up with like vets. Will Ospreay, Moxley, Claudio, Hinari. I love it. I'm amped for this. I'm amped for all of this. The action was great. Hinari's a fucking beast, man. Some of the spots he was doing, he's eating. Claudio's in there with those European uppercuts. You know how Claudio gets in there. Boom! Hinari, it's like fucking, it's like Jill Valentine unloading on Nemesis. And Nemesis just, you feel me? Oh my god. He was like Michael Myers. Hinari was awesome. I'll bring this back to the top, bro. I don't know this Francesco Akira cat from Adam, but by the end of this week, I will. He was out there. You think Jon Moxley is doing this spot with this little dude? I'm 5'7". This guy looks like a shrimp can. I bet he's about 5'6", 5'7", about my height. But he's standing there, boom, boom, barking up at Moxley. The baddest dude in wrestling. My 1B. I always say this, 1A, 1B, Kenny Omega, Jon Moxley. It is what it is, you feel me? Those are my guys. Jon Moxley is making this dude look like $1 million. He's giving him a memorable moment in the main event of a Dynamite on the Go Home show to a massive pay-per-view that shouldn't even be massive, but it's going to be bigger than WrestleMania. For sure. And then when Forbidden Door comes around, guess what? We're going to be seeing Callum Newman, Hinari, and Francesco Akira on that card, and it's going to be awesome. We probably get turned on Ospreay. This is all prep work. And by the time that show comes, you're not going to be saying, who are these guys? Because you will have seen them on TV. Against Jon Moxley and the Death Riders, who are the best thing on television. Marina Shafir can just like get it anytime. I love that she's just like a valid fucking military target. Like the male wrestlers are just like grabbing Marina. At this point, it's on site. They're like, we learned. You're one of us. Fuck it. You know, I seen what you did to your husband, Roddy. I can't really take chances on that. You feel me? So the guys are just putting hands on Marina. I think it's great. I think she's the one to do it. I'm loving this kind of drip feed of intergender matches and wrestling and normalization of it. Of women putting their hands on men and vice versa in this wrestling ring. I think it's fun. I think it's a place that we should be going, man. These chicks can hold their own. Of course they can. I seen Tony Storm get put in the giant swing. It was awesome. This is great. This is what do I have to say, man? I'm in hog heaven watching this shit. Great main event. Ends with goddamn, just everyone getting taken out. Tables are exploding. Claudio does this. He's got Hinari up on like a headstand, right? Like all the blood's coming down. He walks him all the way around the ring. Big fucking 6 whatever. F.U. Claudio Castagnoli. Boom! Lays Hinari out into a table. Badass. Badass, mind you. What else, man? They're in the ring. The very end. Moxley's the last man standing. The Death Riders are just fucking detritus. Just lying around. Just limbs blown off from the table spots, just all around the ring. And you got Newman and Ospreay in the ring with Moxley. Mox tries some shit on Os. Callum saves him, gets Ospreay back up. Oh yeah, what does he do? He hits 3 Death Riders on Ospreay. Moxley does. He's trying to replicate the 5 Death Riders and the not concerto, but he put his head in a chair and stomped it, and that's in storyline what put Ospreay on the shelf with his neck and what he needed surgery from. So Moxley gets 3 Death Riders off. First of all, that's sick. Just face value is just badass. And then he's going to try and paralyze Ospreay and to put him away. Callum gets the save. Big moment for the young prodigy for the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, 23 years old. Shout out. He saves Ospreay. Ospreay lines up Mox in front of a standing table, calls his shot, lowers the thing. Bah! Hidden blade. I'm telling you. Through Moxley's soul and body. Mox flies back. Explodes into a table. Moxley died, I think. I think Jon Moxley died. 1, 2, 3. Will Ospreay pins Jon Moxley 4 days before their pay-per-view match, which is now for the Continental title. Class. Loved it. I mean, what else do I have to say? Energetic, intelligent, respects the audience enough for them to figure out who Yui is or just enjoy a good wrestling match. It ain't fucking rocket science, folks. Google's your friend. If you don't know these cats, Google them. It takes 2 seconds. Oh, these guys were Ospreay's old friends and this guy's a world champion. Oh, that's the same title that Moxley had, that Okada had, that Kenny Omega had. Oh, cool. Oh, yeah, that's the title that Takeshita just had. How hard is that? Lazy motherfuckers. Stupid lazy. Get with it, bro. Not us AEW fans. Huh. I think that's about it. The end here, we get Kenny Omega come out. Looking absolute dapper. That's my 1A. You know what it is. Omega for life. Comes out. Cuts a promo that I feel like I was born during the promo and I would die by the time it was over. It was very long. It was very Kenny Omega. He's a very strange guy. He's a very strange fellow. I love him, man. There's no one like him. No one talks like him. He's weird. He's stilted. He's performative, but it's earnest, and there's no one that talks like him. And there's also just the aura and the respect of the man and the understanding of what he's done and what he's survived and what he's meant and what he's put himself out there and the way that he has, again, I'm a gamer, bro. I love video games. I love Final Fantasy. I love Yakuza. I love Tekken, man. I remember when Tekken had the Bullet Club collab in Tekken 7 when that came out. Well, man, part of me even thinks that may have predated AEW by a year. I don't remember when that Tekken 7 came out, but I know that Kenny was involved with that shit. Now he's in Street Fighter. I love everything he represents, man. I really do. This match against MJF is going to be historic. He goes for 8-9 minutes before MJF comes out. That's probably hyperbolic. It's probably 5. MJF comes out, does a little riposte. They go back and forth. Kenny tries to get Max to shake his hand. Kenny throws some subliminals at CM Punk, which I like. Fuck CM Punk forever. That's what time it is. He's a liar. He doesn't stand for anything. That pipe bomb on Monday wasn't a pipe bomb. It was corporate mandated Punk. That's all it is. Culpably MAGA Punk. I said I was going to lay off, and I will. That's not what it's about. Kenny and MJF go back and forth. Man, this is AEW. Kenny Omega, MJF, this is what it's about. This is the founder who was the man of the moment, and this is the dude that came in when he was 23, and he's 2-time world champ. He's on the Adam Friedland show. He's a crossover megastar. He's in flicks with Adam Sandler. And people know him, man. I got friends who don't know a lick about wrestling, know MJF, and they just go. What else do I really say? Elegant. Kenny goes to shake MJF's hand at the end of this back and forth. We don't need to get into the nitty gritty. It's a go-home promo for the World Heavyweight title. They're saying the same stuff they've been saying, just better. Kenny has been given all these names by the fans, and he's lived up to them. People call him the best bout machine. He didn't call himself that, but he views it as a responsibility and something for him to carry, and he does it. That's the thing with all of his names. Cleaner, the god of wrestling. He says, MJF, you don't live up to this the same way that certain men that call themselves best in the world don't live up to it. MJF comes down. He talks too. Kenny hints at the Coda thing. They might go public. They might actually be dating, Kenny and Coda. I don't know. That'd be fire if that was true. Talks about the diverticulitis thing. I'm on his page. I'm sick of commentary bringing it up with every match. Kenny is not his illness. He's not his diverticulitis. We don't need to bring it up, and I'm glad he fucking said something, because I've been thinking the same thing every week, and I wondered if I was alone in that. We don't need to hear about that every 5 minutes. Talk about the man's resume. Talk about what he's doing in the match right now. You could be calling shots. And I love AEW announce desk. And first of all, shout out tonight's announce desk, last night's announce desk. We had Excalibur, Nigel, and I think Shivani. Perfect. Callis commented on a couple. Shivani is like every wrestling fan. I love him. But yeah, Kenny's like, we don't need to do that every time. I'm more than my diverticulitis. I'm more than what I've survived. I'm with him. Says all this. Max comes out, does the MJF thing. Again, it's like 10:20 and MJF's coming down to the ring. I'm like, this is a different era. These guys are confident. These dudes are in their bag. We are taking our time. We are doing this right. And the network's cool with it, and WB's cool with it. So let's just push on. Ends with Kenny saying, shake my damn hand, Max. This will be a good shot before the big pay-per-view match. Max doesn't shake the hand, turns around, gets ready to walk out. Spins on Kenny, goes to attack him. Kenny read this a mile away because Kenny is a smart babyface and a true veteran. He's not Cody Rhodes getting kicked in the dick by a celebrity the second year in a row, a week before WrestleMania. Kenny gets out of the way. Jumps up, V-triggers Max in the face. Boom! Standing V-trigger. Knocks him out. He's down. Kenny goes down. Takes the Dynamite diamond ring. Says, we're used to this. We're sick of your shit. You are not the face of this company. You are not greatness. You are not what these people deserve. So on Sunday night when that pay-per-view goes out the air, it is not going to be you standing over me gloating like you do every time you win because you're trash. He says, it's going to be me saying, I bid you good night. Adieu. Goodbye. Bang with the Dynamite diamond ring. Show goes off with Kenny Omega standing tall before his pay-per-view challenge for the AEW World title against MJF. This is wrestling at its finest, folks. I'm loving this back-to-back pay-per-view thing, dude. There's so much kinetic energy here. There's motion. They're already setting matches for Double or Nothing. We just got done with Revolution. We got Double or Nothing a month after this. This is great. Not a flawless show, like I said. You know, I'm not going to lose my mind over Willow and Aminata, even though I do love Aminata. I'm not going to lose my mind over Ciampa and Dorada, although I do think that sets up some really interesting stuff for Sunday with this TNT title. Everything had a purpose here. It was quick. They dealt with the injuries. They adapted. They did their own thing. I like it. Everything AEW right now for me, I'm happy. I'm a happy fucking camper. I'm a happy sicko. These people prove to me week over week that that I got a place here and that I am respected and that I am considered, and that means a lot, man. And as an adult and a lover of art and someone who, I'm a lover of literature, my background is in film studies and film historiography. That's really what I cut my teeth on and what I have the most background in. But I like video games. I love music. I love literature. I love wrestling so much, bro. Comics, all of it. Exercise, fitness, bro. And anywhere in any one of these mediums where I can really find a home for myself, I'm gonna be loyal to that, and I feel like they're loyal to me as a fan, and I feel like even if stuff is weird on the AEW card, or if there's some Chris Jericho coming back, or a couple matches that weren't all they could have been, or a couple unfortunate injuries, I know that the intent at least is good, and it's not corporate greed, and it's not faceless men, and it's not any of that. It feels like almost like a family business, man. Everyone coming together and trying to put on a good product, and some people home happy. So that's it. April 8th, Dynamite 2026 in the books. I don't give a fuck about ratings or about numbers or any of that. I had a blast with this. I can't wait for Dynasty. We'll talk again. If you guys enjoyed hanging out with me for this little Dynamite breakdown, maybe it brought something in your day. If you missed the show and this is your catch-up, that's awesome. If you watch the show and you just want to listen to someone talk about it, hear how someone else is feeling, get hyped leading into Dynasty. You know, that's what I'm here for. I'd appreciate a sub. I really want to try and be consistent with this. There's a lot of people talking wrestling on YouTube, and doing it really well. I don't expect to like break out or be big, but I have a lot of fun with this. I love talking wrestling. Um, and I think the AEW community is pretty awesome. So hopefully a couple of y'all find this video. Check me out. All my prayers and well wishes to Brody. To Brody King. I hope he's doing okay emotionally. Well wishes go out to Kyle Fletcher as well as Mark Quinn. Everyone injured, thoughts and prayers are with you. We got Dynamite next week. We got Dynasty coming up. Collision on Saturday. Should be another great week of pro wrestling. Thank you for stopping by. Nikki Popstar, Nikki Classic here for Instant Classics channel. Have a lovely night whenever you're watching this lovely day. Be safe. Thank you. Boom! We out of here.